Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos, and we're going to start this project off with this little plaque that I got at a thrift store. The first thing I'm going to do is sand off the plaque, just kind of give me a good surface for my paint to stick to. And then I am going to give this a nice coat of a dark burgundy color. And I painted the whole thing right over the design on the front and all on the back and along all the edges. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't get any on that little hanger part. And I actually didn't need to do any more coats. The one coat was actually enough. And now I'm going to take this scrapbook paper and I'm going to lay it on the plaque and then just kind of rub around the edges to kind of give myself some markings and then cut that scrapbook paper out. The front of this is kind of like lifted up a little bit over the edges, so I just want to scrapbook paper that part. So once I had it all cut out, I'm just going to Mod Podge it right on. And this was like a thicker scrapbook paper, so I added a little bit extra Mod Podge to make sure that it was held well. I'm kind of getting off some of the excess. I went a little overboard. And now I'm just going to lay that scrapbook paper down and then rub it out with my hands to make sure that it is stuck well. And then once I have that all on there, it's dry. I waited for the Mod Podge to dry. I'm going to sand off the edges of just the scrapbook paper. I am going to sand the edges of the plaque, but I want to get the scrapbook paper off first. So I'm just going to go around and do the edges of that and pull off all that excess paper. And then I'll work on the edges of the plaque itself. So once I have that all off, now I'm going to work on the edges. I just don't want to rip the scrapbook paper, by pulling too hard on it. So now I can sand off all that. And I'm going to change out my pad because it wasn't strong enough. So now I'm going to just go all the way around, kind of bringing some of that wood back through. So once I have the edges all sanded and I wiped it all down, I'm just going to use some antique wax and go around the edges of the wood and on the paper. I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of a vintage look. I'm kind of coming into the edge, but not all the way across the paper. Just quickly all the way around, kind of give it an aged look, and I think that is so pretty. Next, I'm going to take this ornament that I got. I got this at the Christmas tree shop, but I have seen them at other stores. I mean, not this exact one, but pretty close that you can get these flat Santas. And I'm going to give his hat a paint job because it was kind of like a pinky red, and I wanted it to be a deeper red, so I did it to match the outside of the frame. So I used the same color on the Santa hat as I did the frame, or the plaque. So once I had that all done, I am going to set him aside, let his hat dry, and I'm going to put some rub and buff around the edges of this. And it's kind of just like a gold color. And I'm just going to rub that on with my finger all the way around the edge of the wood and on the paper. So just kind of adding it all the way around. And I'm just using my finger to apply this. You don't need an applicator. And a little bit of this goes a very long way. But it really makes quite the difference when you're making something that looks vintage or aged. So once I have that all on, I'm going to take Santa and I am going to glue him to the center of the plaque. Just pop him right there. And then I am going to add some greenery above him. So I just kind of cut off some picks and then I'm going to hot glue them down. Like these longer ones and then a couple of the shorter ones. And do another one on the other side. And then I'm not going to do a bow or anything. I'm just going to add a bell to the center. I don't think this needs a bow. I'm not a huge bow person on certain things. And I feel like this is one of those projects that doesn't need a bow. So I'm just going to glue this golden bell. It's like a brass gold color right into the center of that. And this is done. I think this turned out so super cute. I love taking thrift store projects and making them into something completely different. And I think this was just the perfect project. I absolutely love how it came out. I hope it inspires you to look at things at a thrift store differently. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, don't forget to spread the chaos. And I think this just turned out so cute.